How do we know if we know what we know? We apply our knowledge in a construct. If it works out, then we have learned. We make something out of necessity for our stage in life or to accommodate a change in environment. Next thing is, when does nothing become something? When the normal state is something, and then the condition change, there is nothing. This change, for the sake of being changed, this becomes the something that we have to deal with. On a personal level, I see that I am old, I am retired. I have to adjust my activities to accommodate my stage in life, my age, my health, conditions like that. The change we make is in the stories we make up for ourselves, the stories we live with on a daily basis that takes us from wake to sleep. It is not about what we are doing, it is about what we think we are doing. We learn a lot of myths, stories, legends, gods, saints, sages, and everything else. All these stories are about living. Now, for this change, and for the sake of change in my condition or stage in life, I assemble a few stories to put a lifestyle in perspective. That's what it is. The ambition is to sit quiet and do nothing. Really, I have not too much to do. You could say, I have nothing to do. We cannot make a change for the sake of change. The stories we make up, the stories with which we live with on a daily basis, cannot be formulated while we are engaged in our daily routine. It must be in a change of condition, environment, and situation. And in this change, we get a chance to be away from our regular routine activity, and in our mind we examine what we always do, used to do, or even what we could do. Now see, the stories I have assembled for this say, in the beginning, the great self arose, being alone and without a second, and it thought to itself, I will create. And this great self opened its eyes, and space spreads out. And this space is divided into time periods. And the great self installed an activity for each period. And this great self walks through each period, and as it goes through a period, that period closes. That piece of space closes. Goes through another period of activity, and that space closes until it reaches the end, and all spaces absorbed in the great self. Brilliant story. Well, what is this about? When I wake up in the morning, I can see the whole day spread out before me, all the way until night when I will go to bed. I see each activity set up in its spot. And as I go through the day, until night when I fall asleep, all spaces absorbed, it's gone. We take that the first story. In the second story, I take this from a movie called Zen Master. Now a student master, we'll call him that, Zen, he stays in the temple until he understands something about the mind, how the mind works. And then he goes out into the world to experience this, to see that this is real. We say that. And his conclusion about mind is that mind is an illusion. Not that it is not real, but it is constantly in motion. Thoughts keep coming and going, keeps formulating. Even while we are engaged in an activity, mind is always formulating. Therefore, it is not fixed. That is what illusion means in this place. So now he leaves the temple, goes out into the world to find this experience, to see that this is real. So he comes to a village where in this group, people hunt by day, and at night they just get drunk and fight. That is the entertainment. He comes to this village, but there is one man in this town who really doesn't like him. Well, to start with, this Zen student is vegetarian, and they hunt and eat meat all day. That is how they live. So this young man wants to cause some trouble to this Zen master. And how it works out. One day, this man says to this young master, "You have to eat this piece of meat. I have killed this. If you don't eat this meat, I will have to beat you up." So the young master, he takes this piece of meat, put it to his mouth, open his mouth, and then throws it to the dog. And that guy said, "No, I have to beat you up because you didn't eat the meat." He said, "But I ate the meat. Once you see me put the meat to my mouth and open my mouth, in your mind, you saw me eat the meat." Then one man at the table said, "I saw him eat the meat." And a second and third, until they all conclude, yes, in their mind, they saw him eat the meat. So, he is done from that. Then, in another fight, because they figure he wasn't working for doing anything useful for the community, because he is just quiet, he just eats vegetarian meals and doesn't have too much, he doesn't go hunting and all this thing. One day, as he was going out in the forest to pick up berries and whatever he likes to eat, he sees a trap set for a tiger. And he looked down and said, "Oh, this is not good." He put some sticks down and freed his tiger and tell his tiger, "Get away from here." Then he sees a trap set for some rabbits. And he opened the trap, let the rabbits go. Well, now these guys in the village is furious for him, right? So they tie him by his feet and hang him upside down from a tree for 3 days. At the end of 3 days, he as if passed out or in a dream. He sees himself going down into the earth. And then he sees his master coming beside him, following him, meets him, and they both came out. Then he goes back to the village, and there is a battle going on. Another village had attacked his village, and they are fighting. And he came out and caused a great wind to blow over them to get their attention. Okay, stop the fighting. They are done. And then after that, the Zen master, young master, we say at this point he's accomplished. He leaves the village, goes away. In this story, what we have to see, the dog that he gave the meat to represents the continuity of thoughts or ideas. I will get this, I will do that, I will make that, then I will get that, then I will do that. This is the dog that follows the hunter, right? It's just like that. So once you engage in any activity, like putting meat in his mouth, right away all the thoughts come to you. Then that, then that, then that, that. So in everybody's mind, they saw him eat the meat because they thought of it. The rabbit in this case represents fertility. In the mind, that's the fertility of mind. I will get, I will make, I will do, I will act. And the tiger, being the greatest hunter, represents obsession, addiction, or habitual behavior. You see? Every day, what you always do comes to mind. This is the tiger. He released the tiger. Means I don't do what I always do. And the rabbits mean like I don't care to think, I don't care to want, I don't care for anything I don't desire, right? And the dog, well, if the dog is to me, that's to say he is free of the thinking process of mind. We say that. Now, the next story I want to bring up is that there's a story of Ram. He's king of Ayodhya, and his soldier beside him is Lakshman. Ram is sitting in his court, and the people come to him. They tell him their troubles, and he tries to arrange things for them. So at the end of the day, seems like all the people are gone. Ram says to Lakshman, go and see there is somebody else. Ram goes out. He looks. No, there's nobody. Comes in. Ram said, there is somebody. You go and look again. He goes out and sees a dog. He says, are you waiting to see Ram? Yes, come in. And Ram says, so what is your trouble? He says he was lying by the road, just lying there, and the beggar passed and kicked him. And this is not nice. So Ram tells Lakshman, go and get this beggar and bring him here. So what do you have to say for yourself? Well, I was hungry, and now out of frustration, I kicked this dog. So while Ram agreed, this is not nice. So he asked the dog, what would you like for compensation for this? And the dog said, make him chief priest, what we call Pandit, in that temple over there. Ram said, okay, that's it. They get him nice clothes, like a high priest should get, put him on a horse and send him out. And people wonder, how is this justice? And the dog said, you see, in a previous life, I was the chief priest in that temple. And people praised me for my good works. And I was so overwhelmed with praise. And then I started doing things only for the sake of praise. I lost my ambition in life, what I was supposed to be doing. So now in this life, I'm a dog lying on the street. So that is the payment for that. In this story, what we see, Ram is like the body of knowledge. Whenever there is a situation, you say, what do I know about that? Where have I seen that? You call up all your knowledge. Lakshman is seen as the active hand that, oh yes, I could go, I could make, I could do, I could get. And the dog, like in all stories of dogs, in myths I'm talking about, the continuity of thoughts, habit, behavior. And the beggar in this case is a man who is run out of thoughts and ideas. So we could see how it adds up. A man comes to a stage in life when he has nothing to do. Well, do something. But the dog, well, okay, not this dog, but his mind has no process of thinking. And he goes to the body of knowledge and he says, well, tell me something. And so his punishment for this beggar is to go to that temple and just recapture your position or condition in life, what you're supposed to be doing. Do not lose track of yourself. And so I put all the story and I think about it. And now, about 2-3 weeks ago, I happened to be in the emergency ward in the hospital. About my breathing, my blood pressure, everything that comes with age. So I'm in a ward where all these, well, old people moaning and groaning and wailing, all waiting for some kind of operation, suffering from something. And as I listen to all these sounds they're making, I could hear quietly in the end, I could hear the chattering of the nurses. And beyond that, I could hear a high pitched sound, almost playing a tune. And I focused on that. Why would their music be playing in this place? And as I listen to it, I hear that this is a high frequency sound from equipment beeping and buzzing and everything. In certain frequency, it adds up in my mind. Because you see how it works is that after I get past all the moaning and groaning and loud sound, I pay attention, I could hear some voices. And beyond that, I could hear the mind is looking for a tune, looking for something to think about, to follow. And I came home. Well, after 6 days, I said, okay, that's it for me. I should go home now. Imagine 6 days I'm there, no coffee in the morning, but no coffee anytime. No smoking, they wouldn't let me out of the ward. No drinking, pretty much lying in bed for 6 days. I said, no, this is enough, I have to go home. But I came home and I think about it, you see. That student, Zen master, we call him that. He being hung upside down by the foot. This is the restraint of movement. As I was held in that, well, not held, but I was in that ward, I could not leave. This is the restraint of my movement. And that village attacking this village is to say, like, but while I'm in the ward, all these things is coming to me. Hey, it's morning, I should have coffee, maybe eggs and toast, and cigarettes, obviously cigarettes. And by evening, I should have wine and do what I do. But I'm here, caught in there. This is the bound. But my master means my ambition comes to me. What really I am after in this life? Not about what I do or what I always do. It's coming to my stage that I should keep myself. Now the next line, the next piece is about 2 weeks later, I am recovered from being in the hospital, back to my general routine. Now what do? I watch some videos on YouTube, and at the end of the day, as evening is coming, I'm going to get some wine and some cigarettes. I set up an environment for my activity, and I go there until time to go to bed. Routine, general habit. And if I have money, I go and get this wine and cigarette, and I come home, I set up my environment, I wait till night till I'm had enough, and I go to bed. Without thought, it just happens automatically. But this time I am out of money. So I say, okay, it's 6 o'clock in the evening. I know Rose is home. I call her, send me some money. And as I say, send that text, send me some money, right away, I could see me. I go to the store, I get my wine, my cigarettes, I come home, I set up my equipment, pass my night, I go to bed. I waited for a while, the money doesn't come. So then I think to myself, I should go walk down to the corner store. By the time I get there, the money will come. And then I'll buy wine, cigarettes, come home, set up my equipment. And there it is. And I waited for a while, and the money still didn't come. So I set up my equipment, and I waited. And as I set up my equipment, I turned on a computer, and I said, oh yeah, this thing is not working. I have to fix that. I have to arrange that. I engaged in something else. Until 3 hours passed, and I said, I think I missed it for today. I'll pick it up tomorrow. Now, when I think about that, you see, this is the part where he says, as I put the meat in my mouth, you see me eat it, right? We could say that as soon as I say I am going to get money, I run through the whole story like, I'll get wine, cigarettes, I'll come home, I'll do this, I'll do that, but then I go to bed. I set up my equipment, I will do that, I will do that, I will do that, and I will go to bed. Until I started engaging in another activity, and then what happened to that whole story? That piece of, what do you call that? I said space is divided into time periods. That time period had expired, and that is completely gone from me. And now, when I put everything together, I say, what is this? What does it add up to? As I get up in the morning and I see my whole day spread out, I go through my stories and I say, well, it is done. And I sit down here and I wait. As in my previous story of waiting. When there is nothing to do, I do nothing. I am Aten Raj Indra Nath, interpreter.